How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and pretty much carrying on from yesterday. I finished that mission, got those two boxes there with the links and the trailer. The first one is retrieving some rocket booster parts. So there's 4 locations that appear that you got to go and scan, but you can see from the bird's eye view where they are. So these orange exclamation mark things are actually where they are within the circle. That one, while I was uncovering the edge of the map and the clouds and all the rest of it, I pretty much ran into that one, and I remember seeing at least one more of them. I couldn't remember which one, but yeah, I kind of already knew what I was looking for, so before I even set off or anything, you've got to pretty much, well, I was going to say you got to take a vehicle that can do that objective scanner to find the object, but the third piece I find actually seems to appear before I even scan it, so you might be able to get away with just going around with, say, like a mule or something. Reason why I say that, I didn't really realise or think about it at first, but you can sell the pieces. And the reason I didn't really know is because once I scan them like that, they sort of have a white glow to them, so I just carried on to the next one. But then when I got to the third one, as I drove near it, it ticked it off. If you're looking like the top right where it says find object 4 times and 1's now ticked, it ticked it off, and then the actual thing flashed yellow, and I thought, oh, so you can actually sell it. So then I went and rounded up some of the other bits. Yeah, the second one's like north of the kind of big flooded section in the middle of the map that at some point you'll would have brought the pumps to the old pump station and drained all that area out. The third one, it's up over in the top right, really. That red marker I've got there, this is where I was driving past and it came up with the achievements saying something like jamais vu. It says something about a future reference, and I still don't really get what it means entirely. Why it's saying a future reference, what it's a future reference to, I'm not sure. Yeah, again, I already knew where this was. I was just firing off that objective thing for the sake of it. I like, by the way, how easily and nicely this links climbs. Like, there's a pretty damn steep hill. Certain other vehicles, the Mule being one. In fact, you'll see later on how not as good at climbing the Mule is. Yeah, you see, if as I got there, the tick just appeared in the top right about a second before I hit the scanner. And also, by the time I'm there, yeah, it was flashing yellow. So I then decided to drag that to this road where it's like pretty near to the second one. I was just kind of rounding them all up into one place, so I could go there with a mule and collect them all at once. And yeah, there's kind of 2 pieces are pretty small, and there's 2 bigger pieces as well, which are a bit more awkward to tow along and all the rest of it. But the link still did it. It wasn't like I was going half a mile an hour or anything. Probably a few mile an hour. And then yeah, driving over, now we're at like the left-hand middle side. It's got a left-hand side sort of middle of the map. Yeah, like I said, I was jumping off. There's a rock just up ahead that's kind of like a little ramp to jump off into the water. And yeah, as I was looking around though, I found that the other day. That's what originally made me think, I kind of already know what I'm looking for. Almost tipped the links there, but we got away with it. Yeah, so dragged this one to the base, and it comes up there saying 8 grand, which I suppose is not terrible. I've probably been spoiled a bit by the the Warhammer 40k barrels. For whatever reason, I did it a few times. It would not let me strap one of the pieces down, the little piece. I did put the big piece in the back, and yeah, it wasn't liking that either. So I did, yeah, 2 little ones in the back and 1 on my head. That's how she likes it. Yeah, at this point I was like, fuck the AI, you can get out of the way. Yeah, last time I moved for the AI, I ended up tipping and all sorts. And since they're wankers anyway, you can get pushed in the water. So yeah, when I brought all the pieces, I didn't cash the other one in until I got all of them here. 32 grand, which I suppose in and of its own right is nothing to be sniffed at. I'll buy you, I think that links with the trailer is only about 25 grand or something. It's pretty damn cheap. Yeah, the next mission's kind of the main mission of this video. Help with the repairs at the backup pump station. So I've got to fix 5 pipes, and then it wants you to draw a route afterwards. Just be careful on this, that there's 1 broken pipe there, that's number 2. You follow it around, number 3, and then 4 is like in a hole in the ground, and so is 5. The reason I say be careful, it doesn't really specify. When you click on the pipe thing, it just brings you to that backup pump station. But there's a pipe set running along here that's got 3 damaged pipes, So to be fair, that's like a little clue. But nonetheless, the game doesn't really tell you. You could easily just look and see broken pipes on the other section and think, oh, I'll start fixing them. So yeah, first thing I've got to do is get 5 pipes. I'm already like on the middle island with the steel pipes facility that I've just unlocked. And all around there's a tractor. There's some of them massive, gigantic pipes. There's a car flying past with a Civic sort of exhaust going on. I don't know if you heard that or not. Yeah, but like there is enough scrap. There's a few crappy pieces. Like these broken pipes are worth so little. They're a waste of time, really. These ones are pretty decent. I think the tractor, although I'm sure I had a barrel in there as well, got me about 3 altogether. Ignore this valve that's very close. Tempting, because they're normally worth a little bit of money. Or scrap or whatever. It's just wedged, like, stuck to the wall. You can see now, like, I've got the crane attached to it, floored it. Yeah, it's making me wheelie. I crashed into it all sorts. It was just not having any of it, so wouldn't even waste your time. But yeah, I got 5 pipes. Where stacking them like this, you get like 2 pipes in the sideboard, but over to one side, so you can just balance a third one along the edge, and then that allows you to sort of stack 5, so you can do it in one trip. To be fair, you're going to do the first 2... Is it the first 2? Yeah. The first 2 pipes are kind of on one side of the island that's got the steel pipes facility on. And then 3 on the other side, so worst case you could just take 2 with you, and then you get a little extra detour sort of thing, but you will be going roughly back past the steel pipes facility. You can see the damaged pipe up ahead. I tried to go under here because about an hour or 2 earlier, I got this footage yesterday. I was able to fit under that pipe there with the mule, but obviously because the pipes are stacked higher than the crane, it still got caught this time. Yeah, tonight I've been doing, finally getting around to building a racetrack around Deluge. One thing that really does annoy me with Deluge, that they've sort of let themselves down with it. You can't deploy the bloody scalper anywhere, well, unless it's like in an actual sand quarry, which then makes it redundant because the sand quarry has its own radius. Yeah, even though it's the most sandy looking soil, there's bits where the land's like eroded away and fell down, and it just looks like pure sand, but I've gone all over the place trying to deploy the scalper, and based off that not working, it's a pain, because there's about a good 50% of the map, probably more, where it's not covered by a sand quarry radius. And yeah, it's like a massive waste of Roadcraft real estate, really, because like doing my racetrack, I'm going to stubbornly persist with it because I want to do the racetrack, but it's been easy obviously to do the sections that are within a sand quarry, but there's bits now I've got to do that are pretty damn far away from any sand quarry, so just doing one load of sand, you've got to drive all the way back, fill the bucket, drive all the way back, dump one load, and it takes like probably a good 5 minutes per sand load versus, you know, 10 seconds. Yeah, with this one, the second pipe, just bear in mind, it's typical. It's the first time I built one of these steel bridges, and I happened to build it in the one place where not having like a cage over the bridge would have been handy. Thankfully, I was stubborn and I tried it anyway. I managed to thread the pipe up out the top of the bridge and then, yeah, drop it down on it, and it cashed it in. But yeah, probably worth... You could either do it with a big crane if that was the case, or build like some other bridge. The chances are at this point in the mission, or the map, sorry, in general, you're probably not going to have concrete bridges unlocked, so really you probably want to go with a wooden bridge there, because then at least there's no kind of sides and roof to it that's going to block you. Yeah, the third pipe's kind of cutting through this island. You can see it kind of bridges over the water. It doesn't really show it red there, because previously when I was again scouting around uncovering clouds, I drove on it with the Land Rover or whatever it was, and it kind of knocked the pipe out, so yeah, the game considers like the pipe's already gone, I just need to stick a new one in there. And then as I was driving up here, the mule does, I don't know if I'm just getting more unlucky recently, but it's a little bit naff with driving up hills. I tried the old SnowRunner trick of hooking behind this tree, but obviously in this game you can't select the winch point, so if I backed perfectly against the tree, it'd most likely offer me a winch point to the tree and not be able to look past it. So I just got the very edge of the Land Rover against the tree until I fired the winch out, and then sort of with steering I could at least partially wedge myself against the tree. It didn't work too. It flipped it a bit, but then it started pulling back, but it was just enough to be sort of within 90 degrees, so the engine fired up. I could get the crane on the go. I think I deployed my crane legs just as I tipped over, which probably helped in the end, because I think they kind of helped prop me up, again, just over 90 degrees. Yeah, the Mule, I think personally the tyres need a bit more grip or something. I think there needs to be a few things with the Mule. It's a shame, because actually, apart from its slowness, and then probably its lack of grip in situations like this, I actually really do like the truck. But yeah, it's just disappointingly slow. And it's probably not too bad if you've got no cargo, but then I would argue if it's a vehicle that has a sideboard and all the rest of it, it's a cargo truck, and if it can't climb anything every time it's got cargo in, or it's super slow, it's not really fit for purpose in that sense. They need to make it at least half decent whilst it has cargo, and yeah, preferably a little bit more grip. Yeah, oh yeah, there's the pipe just on the other side that again I knocked. I drove up here. I was going to drive along the pipes, and then when I knocked that out, that obviously cut off like my ability to be able to drive a vehicle across there. Yeah, loaded that in, get the crane done, and then what I should do now, I've got to go over to that island, and I've already got bridges and stuff. I even built a bridge the other day that's very easy, like I can near enough cross to the fourth pipe. For some crazy reason, I wanted to try and drive over this. It doesn't surprise me that I did this, but whilst I've still got 2 pipes left in the sideboard and all the rest of it, and I'm about to drive over water, yeah, in hindsight was like, what the hell was I doing? I should have just finished the mission first. But it was too tempting. I was right here. That rock perfectly lines you up to be able to drive onto it. As I mentioned probably a week or so ago, I tried driving along some different pipes, and when they've not got those white cages around them, the hitboxes on them are a complete nightmare, and that's kind of what bit me then, trying to drive the Mule onto them, is the wheel just slid off the pipe with the like missing white metal kind of whatever squared off thing around it. Yeah, so that slid off. I tried to winch back with the Land Rover. The Mule fell even more, kind of pinged my Land Rover over. Long story short, I fell down. Yeah, managed to kind of at least get myself out of that situation. The Mule, though, is wedged in there pretty damn good. It wasn't even budging a tiny little bit when I was pulling on it with a winch or anything. I figured I'll try from this end. I think I got a tiny bit of like movement, but it's probably more where I'm practically bending the chassis and then it just flexes back. Like the truck itself isn't really going anywhere. So in the end, I thought fine. I'm right near my that industrial base where I've got a new garage. I can spawn vehicles anyway. So went and grabbed a crane, and then I figured, especially that I've gone to this much effort of bringing a crane out, I may as well give it a go in the end. Pop the Mule down on these things, which, yeah, with the white caging kind of around it, makes it a hell of a lot more doable. I mean, again, they've got that rock like perfectly leading up to it. They obviously had it sort of in mind, but then that might just be as a way to drive up and reach this pipe to swap it for this mission. But I read it as, we dare you to drive over the water on these pipes. God damn it, I'm trying it. That's a possible thumbnail as well, actually. I think I went for the one where I was ramming the truck into the water with the rocket boosters. Yeah, so you can see, again, there's like a little hole in the ground with a fourth pipe there. For some reason, they weren't really showing up even red at this point. Oh, those two actually probably haven't got a pipe in them that you've got to knock out to begin with. Yeah, I thought I'll test the Land Rover first. Although I did sort of make another mistake, as in I put the Mule behind that pipe that I've just fixed, which I probably would have been better off doing it in front. Just leapt off to the side, since there isn't really any decent way off there. That attempt went pretty well. Kind of flew off sideways, headbutted a tree. Alright, now for the main event. Make sure that cargo's strapped down. Yeah, I've now got to balance along this pipe with no caging around it, which was sketchy to say the least. It looks easier than, again, if there were two pipes that were exposed without that white caging, it's as near as makes no difference impossible. And then this one I went to jump off. However, I think I steered, but I just hit like the bump of that concrete as I steered, so I kind of bumped myself off the ground a bit, and my steering grip didn't really kick in for a second or two, so I didn't fly as far left as I was hoping to. So yeah, I ended up rolling the Mule. Again, this Land Rover, the winches in general I think are a bit crappy and weak. I wouldn't mind if there was a path to upgrading them, but you're kind of stuck with what you got, and yeah, they don't really winch a lot. I don't know how much the Mule weighs. I can't even remember. It's probably like a 6-ton capacity winch on the Land Rover, but nonetheless, yeah, they're just not really fit for purpose because it can't really pull the majority of vehicles even just over. At some point I managed to get the Mule started and I had the crane on a bit of a diagonal, and then I managed to use that to kind of drive my bonnet under the crane and then winch towards a tree, and it was just slowly levering the Mule at, again, beyond 90 degrees so it'd fire its engine up, get the crane out, push it into the ground, flip myself back over, grab one of the pipes. I undid the straps and got the pipes out the sideboard just to see if that would make it easier for the Land Rover, like if there's less weight to pull over, but it still couldn't handle it. Should have sent in the loaf. He's goddamn professional. He'd have pulled that over for fun. Yeah, still managed to hit just just about everything on the way. This was where I got the van the other day that was like a little van out to drive back somewhere. That's kind of where that spawned. At some point, I've not done it or anything yet, I suppose you could come along with a dumper though and kind of fill that hole in with sand afterwards and get it all smoothed out. Again, that's what I'm sort of a bit disappointed with in Deluge, that you can't spawn the scalper everywhere, because there's loads of stuff I'd kind of tinker around with and dump sand here, there and everywhere. But the fact that half the map is missing, yeah, a place to collect sand or the ability to deploy a scalper. And then obviously in general in this game, a lot of the vehicles are pretty damn slow. You can live with them like the bike or dumper truck. It's fine when you're kind of in the area and you're driving around dumping sand, but I don't want to keep driving like 5 minutes away to get one load of sand and drive back. So there's loads of areas that I'll just end up never really tinkering with or tweaking, which is a bit of a shame really, because they're sort of cock blocking their own game. To the point where I've almost got a feeling that they were supposed to make the scalper deployable on various parts of this map, but they just forgot, or they haven't done it, or it's glitched or something. I mean, look now, even the bottom left, everything looks like it's 80% sand to begin with. But I haven't found one area yet, except for the actual sand quarries, that the scalper can deploy. Yeah, so once you do that mission, it doesn't pop up saying like mission complete yet, because you've got to draw an AI line. So I'm going back out the industrial base, over my steel bridge, that's where I fix the second pipe. And then I swerve off right now. I'll go back to it in a sec. Just to give you an idea, I was like, what sort of AI are we dealing with tonight? Went and looked at them, come straight out of the garage, and did a fat circle. I was like, great. Definitely not the A-team again. Like synchronised swimmers. Synchronised idiots. Yeah, so that kind of gave me an idea. Which, to be honest, based on that, I should have kind of figured it out and gone for the easiest AI route I could. Whereas I went for a bit more of a challenging one. So you can kind of see the route I've taken out. I cut right off the road and across a swamp, which is there. I had to adjust the AI lines quite a bit. Only little things, like there's a downed tree here that they were clipping, so I just moved it a bit more over to the left. They get a little bit tippy there, but they don't actually... I've never had one roll there, so it's not too bad. And then at this point, what you probably could do, I've sort of sent them right now and going under that pipe. You could actually go a bit to the left. I think I'll show it with the camera view a bit later, but there's like a back way up the cliffs, which will probably objectively be the best way. It's probably the shortest route. It's probably a little bit less sketchy than this. The reason I sent them this way is there's a pretty rough kind of wavy bit of road coming up. Or not road, kind of dirt madness. Yeah, I just wanted to see how well the Voron AIs would do, really. Which, to be fair, it kind of restored a little bit of faith in the AI, like, I don't know, the Voron in general. I really wish they'd release a version of this truck with a crane, because something different to the Mule would be nice, that has the crane sideboard combo. Yeah, you can see it's a little bit sketchy. I've drove through here with the Mule, which struggles. I have made it through here, but it catches its bumper and all sorts. Yeah, thankfully it was the Vorons. Obviously the semis would have no chance in hell. Those Azov rear wheel drives, they do terrible along there, because as soon as the front wheel digs in, it's just got no power to climb out of the little dips, so that'd end up getting stuck. And you can see my tyre marks. That was where I took those 2 boxes to the old pump station. I was trying to figure out what those lines were, but yeah, it's left my tyre tracks in. I tipped over like next to that green tree on the left, but managed to right myself just. Yeah, the AI even managed to push a tree over on its own. Good for him. But yeah, even climbing up here, like I say, the Voron AIs are actually pretty respectable, other than the fact that they go weird every now and then and go around in circles and all sorts of weird stuff, but when they actually go the way they're supposed to, yeah, this sort of showed, like, that's a pretty rough road. I didn't have much hope that they were going to make it. So yeah, going along there, and then I cut across. I went down there, but they got stuck the second they got in that water, and to be fair, I've driven through it in a vehicle, and it's pretty ruthless, boggy, deep mud that's a bit of a pain in the arse. Now, I think, yeah, you could go this way instead. There is a gap in that fence, and then you can see there is already, like, roads going up there. It probably makes more sense, because even the angle that they'll approach their sort of destination building would make more sense going the other way. Yeah, you can see one of them's like didn't manage to make the turn, but just wait for him to get there, cash that in, help with repairs at the backup pump station. Not actually that much money or anything, considering you had to swap 5 steel pipes and do that AI route, which went alright, but it's certainly a little bit of a tricky AI route. And then last one, just quickly, I threw it in at the end, repair the power lines to ensure a stable electricity supply. The reason I was smashing through missions, why I probably got like 3 days worth of videos done in one night, was I was trying to get the bloody concrete slabs facility unlocked so I could unlock the 20 slot bridge, the concrete bridge. I did actually find a bit of a tip tonight. If you wanted to span, I'm going to do a tips video, but I'll sort of mention it just in case it comes in handy for anyone. I needed to span a piece of water that needed a 20 slot bridge, hence why I needed the concrete slabs. But what I found, once I did the 20 slot bridge, I built it, drove halfway along the bridge, and when you dump sand, the sand falls through the bridge, and I was spanning it over water, so I couldn't really do this any other way. Started pouring sand that just phased through the bridge and was filling up the water underneath, and eventually I made a little island. By the way, I left that in, see, like I did a little drift. I was saying the back end comes out a lot more lately. Yeah, and then I deleted the 20 slot bridge and built 2 10 slot bridges to like the hump of sand I'd built in the middle. I'll do a proper video on it, but it's also quite a handy way if you wanted to draw a straight line of building road and pouring sand. You could build a bridge and then drive along that bridge and dump sand that will fall through, and you'll end up making quite a nice straight line kind of yeah, that you can then drive the dozer over and smooth it all out and build a road that way. Again, I'll do it properly. I just thought I'd throw that in there quickly. Some of you, if you sort of roughly know what I mean, it might help. Yeah, and then that's it really. Drive here, it takes those beams. It took 2 on the first one, 5 on this one. So that's way more. That was an easier mission. That's like 4 times more money than the last mission. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf, and I'll be back soon.